Guyana teachers threaten strike action, and in sport, India dominates the opening day of the first test against the West Indies. I'm Ricardo Robertson. This is Caribbean in 10 for Thursday, October 4. I'll be back with the details after the break.
New film Pimp, Kiki Palmer of Aquila and the Bee fame, who plays the lead character Wednesday, gives us a gender check as she plays a female pimp in a world of male wolves. The film itself documents the life of women on the streets of New York amidst the hustles and dangers facing those working in the illegal sex trade. But it also keys on the love story between Palmer and her girlfriend Nikki, who both dream of better lives and hustles in hopes to change it.
Let me start up by saying the energy, turn up. So the uniform, turn up. In that performance, you had some moments that were some awesome moments. And before I give you a score, those awesome moments are going to get a prize.
The Guyana Teachers Union, the GTU, is threatening strike action again, this time over the appointment of a chairman for the arbitration panel examining their salary dispute with government. The union wants the minister responsible for labor, Keith Scott, to rescind the appointment of Dr. Leland Lucas. Scott had appointed Dr. Lucas after the GTU and the Education Ministry failed to reach an agreement. But the union insists the minister can only nominate a chairman, not just appoint one. GTU President Mark Light has expressed a lack of faith in the arbitration process and said the union has rejected in no uncertain terms Minister Scott's appointee.
And we believe that a neutral person should be nominated for both sides to agree on the panel. I'm of the view that there is some sinister plans afoot to thwart the process and not to allow fairness and equity to prevail.
Last month, at the beginning of the school year, teachers took strike action to press government for a 40% pay hike for 2016 and 5% annually from 2017 to 2020. But they subsequently returned to the classrooms and agreed to send their industrial dispute to arbitration. Light says if Dr. Lucas's appointment is not rescinded, an even bigger strike will hit the country. Over in Trinidad and Tobago now, the Oilfield Workers Trade Union, the OWTU, today resumed the protest against the closure of the refinery at state-owned oil company Petrotrin. Leg one of the three-day march, which began at the refinery at Pointe-a-Pierre, ended at Rienzi Complex, where workers spent the night. As we hear in this report from CNC3's Otto Carrington, OWTU President General Ansel Roger is confident the show of force will stop government's plan to shut down the refinery and send home thousands of workers.
He says during the journey, the union will correct misinformation that the government is spreading about workers and Petrotrin. Today, they created several bubblies to get their message across. Joining the march was President of the National Trade Union Center, Watson Duke.
We always represent one thing, labor, people. And if the people in South are affected, then the people in Port of Spain, in the East, in Tobago, all over Trinidad and Tobago, they are affected. And so we are here this morning symbolizing, as with the say back home, we did it. We did it with the OWTU, and we did it with Trinidad and Tobago.
Congress of the People political leader Caroline C. Prasad Bechan also joined the march.
So now it is up to the citizens of this country to stand up against this decision.
Regional tourism officials have started a three-day conference aimed at exploring the possibilities and opportunities to rejuvenate, recreate, and reconnect for new directions in Caribbean tourism. Bahamas Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis told the opening ceremony of the State of the Tourism Industry Conference, SOTIC, on Tuesday night that in many ways the potential of the Caribbean region is untapped. He highlighted that the tourism industry offers more employment and engagement activity than any other economic sector.
Governments play an essential role in helping entrepreneurs to gain access to the skills and resources needed for success. If we can give birth to a generation of new entrepreneurs, we can move Caribbean tourism to greater heights and in many new directions. And one of these new directions is a greater global involvement in tourism by the people of the Caribbean.
And stay with us, your Midday Sport is next. West Indies suffered at the hands of teenager Prithvi Shaw, who struck the third fastest 100 on debut, as India dominated the opening day of the first test on Thursday, opting to bat first at the Saurashtra Cricket Association Stadium. India marched to 364 for 4 at the close, with the 18-year-old Shaw belting a superb 134 and Captain Virat Kohli ominously poised on an unbeaten 72. Shatashar Pujara had earlier missed out on a 100 when he stroked 86, while Ajinkya Rahane chipped in with 41 as India recovered from the loss of opener KL Rahul in the first over without scoring to color the visitors' bowling attack. Now Shaw gathered his runs on both sides of the wicket, taking 12 from Kemo Paul's second over of the morning, courtesy of 3 boundaries, before driving the same bowler for 4 through the off and leg side to move into the 40s. He reached his half-century of 56 deliveries and was unbeaten on 75 of 74 deliveries at lunch, as India reached 133 for 1 with Pujara on 56. He raced into the 90s with another pulled boundary of the ineffective Devendra Bishu before raising 3 figures of just 99 balls nearly 3/4 of an hour after the interval, punching Paul to cover for a couple. Now, with the achievement, Shaw became the 4th youngest batsman to score 100 on debut and the youngest ever Indian. Staying with cricket now, a hat-trick from Riyad Emirate was enough to condemn Windward Islands Volcanoes by 75 runs in what was the first rain-affected match of the regional Super 50 against Trinidad and Tobago's Red Force. Emirate picked up figures of 3 for 5 as the Volcanoes were reduced to 145 for 8 in their runs chase of 220 for 8 set by the host team. The short innings of 37 overs each saw Kyle Mayers hitting an unbeaten 55, while Shane Shillingford chipped in with 29. Earlier, experienced batsman Nicholas Puran top-scored with 89, while Narain added 35 and Kyle Hope perishing on 38. That's Caribbean in 10. Join us again at 6:30 for Caribbean Newsline. Good afternoon.